Covering news where you live. This is 5 News.
No, thank you for joining us here for the latest news and weather where you live. I'm Joe Ellison. One of the biggest stories happening in our region, recreational marijuana is officially legal in Missouri, but will still be a couple of months before dispensaries are able to become licensed. Ryan Henson spoke to a dispensary in St. Louis and explains the changes that went into effect.
It's a good day at Greenlight Dispensary. Marijuana now legal in Missouri. What this means, adults can now possess up to 3 ounces. Marijuana charges are expunged from records. Dispensaries can apply with the state to sell recreationally. The state has until February 7th to grant a license. These are the changes Dominique Nash voted for in November. She's excited the industry is giving a green light to alternative medicines.
I'm a mom who struggles with postpartum depression. And when you struggle with any form of mental health issues, you don't want to be heavily medicated with Western medicine because of side effects. And I still need to function as a mother and a person.
She also says state involvement a good thing, especially for people who are new to marijuana products.
I'm a mom and I can't go anywhere to anybody's house. I like being able to come to a facility that is certified and backed by the state to be able to take care of all of my health needs.
Greenlight partner Tom Bomarito recommends people to apply for their medical card. Starting now, the cards are valid for 3 years instead of just 1.
There's some benefits to medical cards. Protects you at your job. If you have a medical card, you cannot be fired for, possessing or having a blood test that had marijuana, unless you were, of course, intoxicated at work. You can't do that.
Bomarito says the card also gives legal protections in family court. And this is big business. Bomarito says last year, 7,000 jobs were created in the marijuana industry. Of course, Jefferson City will get its cut. But unlike Illinois, where THC is taxed at 31%, in Missouri, it's between 12 and 15%, depending on local taxes.
Now, before we get to other news, let's get a check of the weather heading into this weekend with meteorologist Stephen Abshire. Hey, Stephen.
Hey, Joe, for this Friday in Fayetteville, we're expecting temperatures to get up into the upper 50s with some sunnier skies on the way this afternoon, but really not going to be cooling off all too much as we head into the overnight. Another mild start to your Saturday is on the way. Taking a look at Fort Smith, what to expect as we get into the rest of this afternoon. We're going to have temperatures get up into the low 60s later on today. Clouds are going to build as we get into the overnight because we have some rain on the way with a mild start to the Saturday as well, with temperatures only into the 50s. But taking a look at what we can expect on Futurecast over the next few hours as we get into Saturday morning. We're going to see some more showers begin to move into the area as we get later on into the overnight. By midnight, we're going to see heavier rain begin to move in for parts of northwest Arkansas. Then throughout the day, we're going to see more showers through most of the morning getting into the River Valley. And then as we get later on towards the middle of the day on Saturday, things are going to begin to clearing out, and then mainly just going to be dealing with some cloud coverage through most of the afternoon on Saturday. But our rainfall forecast over the next 24 hours as we move from Friday into midday on Saturday, we're going to see upwards of 1 inch to 1.5 inches to some areas, maybe even closer to 2 inches if they're in heavier downpours through most of our area. Fayetteville, upwards of 1 inch. Fort Smith, 1.5 inches. So we're going to keep an eye on potentially another very wet start to our weekend. But take a look at tonight's low temperatures are going to be into the 40s and 50s, 47 in Fayetteville, 52 in Fort Smith, 54 in Waldron. And then for the rest of this weekend, we're expecting temperatures to be into the 50s and some into the 60s for high temperatures, but mild for much of the next 2 days. It's going to be drier on Sunday, mostly cloudy, but still going to be a little bit more gloomy than you'd like, because it's going to be just a few times where we see the clouds really pop out. But taking a look at Futurecast as we get into the start of the week, tracking the potential for some strong storms as we get into Tuesday. A cold front will be backing into our way, and that's when we're going to see the potential for some severe storms, some thunder, some lightning, some heavy rain on the way for Tuesday. We're going to keep an eye on that as we get into the next week. This is the area that is going to have the highest chance to see some of those storms. Arkansas, including us in northwest Arkansas and the River Valley, are in that area. Louisiana, Texas, and Mississippi as well are all areas that could see some severe storms. But taking a look at the next 7 days, northwest Arkansas temperatures are going to be into the upper 50s. Could see 60s by Tuesday, but that's when we're going to see some rain chances. But after that cold front moves through, Wednesday and Thursday are looking cooler. And then taking a look at the River Valley into the 60s. Rain chances on Saturday, rain chances on Tuesday with the chances for storms. But then by Wednesday and Thursday, sunnier, drier, but cooler is on the way.
All right, thanks so much, Stephen. Well, Portsmouth police arrested a man for a string of smash and grab burglaries. Now, we first told you about these earlier this week. The suspect, identified as 31-year-old Elijah McAllister Jr. He's accused of breaking into several businesses, including Cheers Liquor on Rogers Avenue. McAllister is in custody on several charges and a $20,000 bond. 5 News spoke to the owner of Cheers, who tells us this news is finally bringing them some relief.
Hopefully this will put an end to it. I also hope that it sends a message to others that are out there breaking into cars and etc., and that they will realize that the police are going to go after you and the community is going to gather together and to find this person.
Now, McAllister's first court date is set for Wednesday. And it's now been more than a week since an inmate escaped from the Crawford County Jail. Jeremy Call escaped from the jail last Wednesday morning. It's believed he got out through a vent. This is the third time Call has broken out of a jail in our area. The previous escapes happened last year in Leflore County. Now, if you spot him, police say don't approach him. Just call the Crawford County Sheriff's Office. That number, 479-474-2581. And a manhunt is underway for 2 inmates that escaped from a Missouri jail. It happened Tuesday in Cass County. That's along I-49, just south of Kansas City. The FBI is involved in this search. Now, these are the 2 men that are wanted, Trevor Sparks and Sergio Perez Martinez. They're considered armed and dangerous. Another man was arrested for helping the 2 escape. Investigators say they knew each other through a drug trafficking organization. And you can get those bets ready. Happening today, it's opening day for the new racing season at Oaklawn and Hot Springs. The track begins its longest racing schedule in its history this season, wrapping up 68 days from now. Along with the earlier start comes the greatest number of stakes races with the highest payouts ever. Well, a Siloam Springs family is working to spread some cheer this holiday season. They'll hold their 9th annual toy drive, and this year they're getting a bit of an inspiration from a Christmas classic. Here's 5 News reporter Jose Carranza to explain.
I traded my house.
This holiday season, you may see a house on wheels coming through, and it might just remind you it's time for a Christmas vacation.
I think we all get a little stressed out this time of year, and here I am in a robe in my backyard in front of a big RV.
This winter, Siloam Springs resident Jeff Lee is playing Cousin Eddie from the hit Christmas Vacation movie, and he wants to get something real nice for children across Northwest Arkansas.
Doing a little bit more, filling the RV with toys, giving back to a group called Loaves and Fishes, and their goal, was kind of a mutual goal of ours, but we kind of got connected with some friends and said, hey, this group is in some need. They want to raise enough toys for 300 children.
We are beyond grateful, and I have not even met him face to face yet, so I am super excited.
Loaves and Fishes director Jennifer Harvey says the help comes at a critical time.
With the inflation of prices and things, we have noticed that we have so many more families this year than we've ever had that are needing help with food, so we knew that there was more of a need for toys this year.
It's a beaut, Clark.
So Lee and his family will load up in the RV and head to Gentry this weekend. They'll gather toys during the Christmas parade with a goal of gathering 1,000 for children all over NWA and even Missouri.
Giving, whether it's to us or to somebody to help, it's a good feeling for you. It also, it's helping the community, but there's something about giving, not just this time of year, but knowing that there's a bigger purpose for what you're doing.
In typical Cousin Eddie fashion, Lee is hoping to give a gift that keeps on giving this whole year. Covering news where you live, Jose Carranza, 5 News.
And Fayetteville High School students bringing attention to those that are homeless in our area. It's the school's 25th annual homeless vigil. 5 News reporter Rachel Williams takes us there.
Students will stay in temporary shelters overnight to understand and demonstrate what families who are experiencing homelessness in the community deal with every night. Thursday afternoon, students set up camp to live out their holiday tradition.
So by doing our little part with our school district, we hope that we can make an impact and help those people.
The event started with a student named Tommy Grace, who for years did it himself.
Then he was approached by the student council here at the high school and said they wanted to be part of it, and so they did it together for a couple of years, and then student council took it over all by themselves and have been doing it ever since.
The Families in Transition program is a district program that provides housing, enrollment, transportation, and community resources to those students' families who may be living in non-permanent housing.
They identified around 350 families, which was just a big shock, because if you think about all of those households that need help, that might be in jeopardy of losing their housing, or they're currently in temporary housing, like living in a motel, a car, or a temporary shelter, it's just shocking to think that there's so many people who come to school every day like that.
For decades, the program has played a vital role in the district.
We're always about moving the barriers that keep you from learning. If you're cold, if you're tired, if you're hungry, if you don't know where you're going to sleep tonight, you're not going to pay attention in class. You can't. So that's our job, to try to get those barriers out of the way.
And last year we were able to help 40 families with the donations we collected from the Homeless Vigil, and that's just amazing that our community has given so much, and we're hoping this year to help a lot more.
In Fayetteville, covering News Where You Live, Rachel Williams, 5 News.
And making headlines across the nation, Brittany Griner is back in the United States after a prisoner swap with Russia. Jared Hill has this story from New York.
The plane carrying Brittany Griner is expected to land in San Antonio, capping the months-long campaign to free her from Russian detention.
What's your mood? Happy.
This video is from Russian state media. It shows the WNBA star leaving a Russian penal colony before the controversial prisoner swap with convicted Russian arms dealer Viktor Bout in Abu Dhabi.
After months of being unjustly detained in Russia, held under intolerable circumstances, Brittany will soon be back in the arms of her loved ones.
Griner, a two-time Olympic gold medalist, was serving a 9-year sentence after authorities in Russia found less than a gram of cannabis oil in her possession at a Moscow airport back in February.
The most important emotion that I have right now is just sincere gratitude.
Since then, the U.S. has been demanding the release of both Griner and another American, Paul Whelan, jailed in Russia for nearly 4 years on espionage charges.
This was not a choice of which American to bring home. The choice was one or none.
While devastated, Whelan's brother says the Biden administration made the right decision.
The math is not going to work out for Paul to come home anytime soon.
Griner's family says they're praying for Whelan and for the swift and safe return of all wrongfully detained Americans. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Thank you for joining us here for the latest news and weather where you live. Catch up with us again on Monday for more. Have a great weekend.